Life always is as it is. It's very simple. The nature of life is to always be in movement and non-movement simultaneously. In the world of the apparent things, it's always changing from one thing to another, one thing to another. Everything is always changing. When the body looks one way, it's a whole different things. And then also when we drink or we eat or we watch things, there's always movement and change happening. The world of things is perpetual movement, which means there aren't any fixed things. There is always movement. And then the other side to that movement is non-movement. Isn't that crazy? In order for there to be movement, there has to be non-movement. There has to be stillness. In order for there to be light, there has to be dark. In order for there to be up, there has to be down. This stillness, though, is covered by the illusion of self. This non-movement, this non-existence is covered by this illusion of being somebody. The illusion of self thinks that this is really real and that somebody's having an experience. That somebody is in relationship with what's happening. And it's crazy because that energetic contraction of the illusion of self makes it feel like this is only moving, that this is only happening. And the non-happening is covered. This is really real. And this energetic contraction of self, that this is happening to someone, kind of feels like the back of things. It feels like something really real, me, this illusion of self, which is this body and these ideas and these belief systems and these actions. So something real is experiencing an external real world, and it's in relationship with a real world. And it makes it feel like there are two things happening. There is a subject and an object. There is somebody in relationship with things. Where really there is no thing happening. This is happening and not happening. But all the happening is made of the non-happening. All the things aren't actual things, they are appearances that aren't ultimately happening or separate. This is so hard to talk about. A lady left my talks at the weekend because she said I was too intellectual, too complicated. So this person that's in relationship with things feels real. It makes life feel like it's really happening and that it's divided, that it's separated into two. I am in relationship with the world. And as soon as this illusion of self has started, life always feels incomplete. It always feels like the person feels like it lost something, because it did. As soon as identification started, there was a separation from everything, so it lost everything. So it always has a sense of discomfort. And its movement always is to try and find comfort in the world, in things. And it will always fail because there aren't things. There aren't ultimately things, and there isn't a somebody that could get these things. But it gets into this drama of trying to obtain things and believing that it will reach its goal, it will get to the gold at the end of the rainbow when it gets certain things, when certain things are in play. So it always thinks, I will get there when I get to these things. But this person that believes that it's going to get there never really exists, so it can never actually get there. It believes that it's the things, there's something wrong with the things, the money, the lover, the situations, the way that this is set up, that it's a cruel world, that it's not enlightened, that it can't do it correctly. But actually there's nothing there that could possibly get something. There's nobody there that could get something. This is fantastic. But it doesn't feel fantastic for that person that feels separate. There's nobody here. But that's impossible for the person to see, because to the person, it is real and the world is real. And that person cannot see that the world isn't real and that it's happening and not happening, that it is and it isn't. But the person can't see like that. The person sees in opposites. The person sees in this and that. So it has to be, life has to be in relationship with someone, something. And it has to be able to get there. But you can't pick up, you can't grasp as a person, existence is and isn't. That's non-graspable for the person, because it's not in time, and the person exists in time. The person exists in past and future, in, oh, what shall I do in the next moment? And objectifying and imagining. So it has to imagine existence as something and not something. It is and it isn't. It has to imagine that in its way of imagining, in subject object. But it can't imagine that. It is that way. It is. There isn't anyone here in relationship with anything. It's happening and it's not happening. It's happening for no one, and yet it is. And this is a celebration, but not to the person that wants to get somewhere. And this message completely isn't for that person. I'm not trying to wake up a person. These ideas might be relaxing for that person. That person might calm down hearing this. It might freak the person out, but it's not on that level that we're speaking. This isn't the person hearing. The person can never hear a thing. The person's in movement. The person is something moving. And all things that move aren't real. They're happening and they're not happening, but there is no thing that's a permanent. All things are in flux. So there couldn't be someone that hears, because as soon as it goes into time, it's changing into something else. What would be that person that hears but an idea or an energy rising in every instance saying, I'm hearing, I'm listening. But there aren't any solid things. There's nothing which is solid. So nobody could get this. There's not anybody here or there that could get this and hear this. No, there's not a person that's ever heard anything in their whole entire life. People don't exist. There's nobody sitting here listening to Lisa. There's nobody speaking. There are forms appearing and not appearing. There is existence which is and isn't. It's everything and nothing. And nobody hears that, and that's its joy, that's its freedom. And in these appearances, everything happens, all opposites, beauty, ugliness, heaven, hell, growth and destruction, but ultimately nothing is being destroyed or grown, because there aren't any separate things. There is one energy expressing itself, giving the appearance that it's moving into lots of things.